Evening guys, Gary here. Just thought I'd do a quick update. There's not much that's been going on. As you can see, the bench looks like it's had a bomb explode on it. Full of vintage plastic. Been doing a bit of repair work this week. I shall show you that in a second. I've got no further on the 60 Ford Starliner, unfortunately. I just haven't had the time to paint it, so I've been too cold, too wet, or a combination of both. And I can't paint the body shells indoors, unfortunately, so I've got to wait for decent decent weather to paint that one. But it's all ready to go. It can be painted it gloss black, solid black. This one. I thought I was fancy doing this Starliner or a Galaxy in black with a red interior, so that's what we're going to go for, which is what's on the box art of the kit actually. So yeah, on the bench in front of you, apart from being a bloody mess, what I've been doing is some repair work on these old kits. First up, got this old 64 Johan Dodge Polara, and what have I done on this one? You can see lots of little filler dabs and stuff and bits and pieces on it. It's in bad shape, this was. If you watched the previous video, you know the reason I'm keeping hold of this kit is because of that side trim down the side, which doesn't look much, but this side trim here with the Polara badge at the back there makes this a very rare version of this kit. The Johan 64 Dodge Polara is not particularly rare. They go for good money these days, but it's not a particularly rare kit, the later version, you know, which is the drag version. But this earlier kit with the side moulding is pretty rare. So, been doing a bit of fixing up. I've been building up the plastic in the back here, the window moulding, which was all chewed up. There's a crack in the roof there, crack in the roof there. If anybody's ever worked on these old Johan kits, the plastic is as brittle as you like. You've got to be so careful with this. If I drop this now, game over. Probably break into about 1,000 bits. The most part of the surgery, oh Jesus man, that roof is really bad. Yeah, I'm going to have to flatten that down. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. See all the divots in it? Didn't notice that before. Must be all that glue crap that's inside. Anyway, the biggest part of the repair work I did was on this, we call it a scuttle panel in the UK. Chris Cortell did tell me what you guys call it. I think you call it a lower windshield panel or something like that, whatever. But, or a lower vent panel, I don't know. But I had to graft this in from another old Johan kit, scrap body that I've got. Cut it a bit short because I'm a bit of a prat for not measuring it properly. You know, the old saying goes, measure twice, cut once. I really should listen to that because I didn't. I cut it and it was about 2 or 3 millimeters short on that side, but I filled it in. Doesn't look too bad. That's pretty smooth there at the moment, so that's all good. Now the weird thing is, even though these body shells are all the same technically, the hood was too short. If I put it on now, it's obviously got a lot of filler, as you can see in it. It's fitting quite nicely now. A lot of filler on the back there. Basically what that is I've grafted in 2 or 3 strips of styrene stock, glued them all together, this stuff here, glued 2 or 3 strips together and shaped it, and you know, we've got the contour, basically got the contour there. It's looking pretty good. There's still a little gap there, but I've got a bit of work to do on it. But it's certainly a lot better than what it was. So yeah, that's coming along quite nice. I'm not really planning to paint these or anything yet. I just want to get the bodywork done on it so I can put it away and then think, right, okay, work on that. Oh, another thing I did do or get was the the rear screen I broke on this one, and I thought I'm going to have a real bad job because it's compound curves. It curves that way, curves that way. So I thought I'm going to have a nightmare trying to get hold of another one of these. But I actually, if I can find it, should probably count there. Oh yeah, just bear with me a sec. Oh, Yeah, well, what I actually use is this piece of glass here, which is the rear screen out of the Lindbergh 64 Belvedere kit, which is pretty common. You can find that kit pretty cheap in most places. Good kit for spares. It's got 2 engines in it. It's got the yeah, what has it got in it? I think it's got the Max Wedge 426, the street head, not the street Hemi, it's like the 426 Max Wedge or something. And I think it's got, yeah, it has. It's got a slant 6 in it as well, so it's a good little kit to have. Anyway, took the rear screen out of that, and I thought, I wonder if it's going to fit this Johan old kit. It's a little bit on the short side. It will go. Let me just show you. It's just, there's not much playing around room. When I glue it in, it's going to be pretty close, but it will go. So I'm quite pleased. That'll do the job. And the other one, I've been doing a lot of work on this one, which is an original 1964 AMT Ford Mustang convertible. 64, 65 probably. So this really is like the very first of them. And there's a few features on this kit that are that make it a lot different than any of the other Mustang kits out there. One being, these early ones had a, you can't really see it through that, but it had a very early Ford Falcon type dashboard. All these blue parts that you can see are from a later AMT 66 Mustang hardtop kit. Now these front seats are not quite correct, you know, for pattern wise, but they're going to have to do, because whoever built this one originally put the custom seats in, and the original seats are long gone. And finding original seats for this 65 Mustang proved to be pretty difficult, so these will suffice. I'm going to use these wheels. These wheels are out of the an original AMT. I don't know if it's going to show up very well. These are from the AMT 64 Ford Falcon kit. And I've got a couple of sets of these, and I found that if you put some put black wash in them, they actually look pretty good. But they're only little 13-inch wheels. So they're pretty much the only ones that fit this kit. So I've got an engine from the later kit, which is the 289 V8, no problem. This is the early chassis. The early chassis had just a single exhaust on the Mustangs, not the twin exhaust that you'll see on the 66 onward kits. Screen, again, I've got to do a bit of work to that, but I've done quite a lot of body work on this one as well. The top of the frame was split there, which I've managed to fix. No problem. And I've grafted in the section there of windscreen pillar. Do you know, I cannot get it any tidier than what it is at the moment. And to be honest, I think that looks pretty shit. But but it's going to have to do. You know, there's only so much you can do. I mean, saying goes, you can't polish a turd. So I grafted in some plastic in the inner part there to make the windscreen frame. I need to put some filler work into there. Got some filler work here, and I grafted in a rear panel because they used a custom rear panel on this and it was completely chewed up. So I cut it out of the 66 hardtop body and grafted that in as well. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. So that one's on the way. What I should probably do is fix all these bodies up and then just put a coat of primer on, white primer or grey primer, and just put them back in the box for when I'm ready to build them, really. So that's what's been going on. Nothing else, really. Well, there is a 64 Falcon, AMT 64 Falcon kit, which I acquired pretty recently. So that's another one for the rebuild pile. I do like my old vintage kits. You know, these days I seem to get more enjoyment out of restoring these old things than I do in building the new kits. I still enjoy building new kits, don't get me wrong, but it's just more of a challenge. You know, these things get forgotten about, you know, and trying to buy these old vintage kits, you know, mint versions of them, it's so expensive, you know, I mean, way out of my modelling budget. So really the only option for me is to buy, you know, some old, you know, the old built up version, strip them down, take the paint off, fix the bodywork issues, and do the best I can with them. And I really enjoy it. So stay tuned for future updates on those. I hope your week's going okay. It's nearly the weekend. From my last video, If you remember rightly, I said there's going to be a bit of upheaval at work with the jobs and whatnot. That's still happening. I've got no idea what's happening. They seem to have changed their mind quite a bit, but I don't know. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. But I'm not worrying about that too much. Otherwise, what's the point? You can't do nothing, can you? So you might as well just get on with it. I hope you're all keeping well, guys. Have a good weekend. And I'll probably come up with an update again next week. Thank you for all the subscribers that have come on board recently. And I'll see you all soon. Take care.